Hare Krishna, everybody. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Chaitanya Vallabha Prabhu, for giving us the opportunity to do the lecture today. So today it's a big difference because it's not only me who is going to talk, it's Pratheek Prabhu as well, who is a very good devotee. So that's his first time lecture. So please give him your blessing. So tonight we are going to read from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 27. So please, if everybody can open the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 27. I think it is page 489, is it? Yeah, 489 in the big one. Okay, repeat after me, please. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Okay, so chapter 9, verse 27. Repeat after me, please. Yat karosi yat ashnasi.
Yat karoshi yad ashnasi.
Yat juhoshi tadashi yat.
Yat juhoshi dadasi yat.
Yat tapasyashi kunteya.
Yat tapasyasi kaunteya.
Tat kurushva mat alpanam.
Tat kurushva madarpanam.
Yat karosi yat ashnasi.
Yat karoshi yad ashnasi.
Yat juhoshi tadashi yat.
Yat juhoshi dadasi yat.
Yat tapasyashi kunteya.
Yat tapasyasi kaunteya.
Tat kurushva mat alpanam.
Tat kurushva madarpanam.
Yat karoshi yat ashnavi.
Yat karoshi yad ashnasi.
Yat juhoshi tadashi yat.
Yat juhoshi dadasi yat.
Yat tapasyashi kunteya.
Yat tapasyasi kaunteya.
Tat kurushva mat alpanam.
Tat kurushva madarpanam.
Yat karoshi yad ashnasi.
Yat karoshi yad ashnasi.
Yat juhoshi dadasi yat.
Yat juhoshi dadasi yat.
Yat tapasyasi kaunteya.
Yat tapasyasi kaunteya.
Tat kurushva madarpanam.
Tat kurushva madarpanam.
Any Prabhus?
Yat karoshi yad ashnasi.
Yat karoshi yad ashnasi.
Yat juhoshi dadasi yat.
Yat juhoshi dadasi yat.
Yat tapasyasi kaunteya.
Yat tapasyasi kaunteya.
Tat kurushva madarpanam.
Tat kurushva madarpanam. Yat.
Yat.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Karoshi.
Karoshi.
You do.
You do.
Yat.
Yat.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Ashnasi.
Ashnasi.
You eat.
You eat.
Yat.
Yat.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Juhosi.
Juhoshi.
You offer.
You offer.
Dadasi.
Dadasi.
You give away.
You give away.
Yat.
Yat.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Yat.
Yat.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Tapasyasi.
Tapasyasi.
Hostilities you perform.
Austerities you perform.
Kaunteya.
Kaunteya.
O son of Kunti.
O son of Kunti.
Tat.
That.
That. Kurushva.
Kurushva.
Do.
Do.
Mat.
Man.
Unto.
Unto
me.
unto me.
Alpanam.
Arpanam.
As an offering.
As an offering.
So translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki.
Jai.
Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. So if you'd like to please repeat after me. Whatever you do,
whatever you do,
whatever you eat,
whatever you eat,
whatever you offer
whatever you offer,
or give away,
or give away,
and whatever austerities
or whatever austerities
you perform,
you perform,
do that,
do that,
O son of Kunti,
O son of Kundi,
as an offering to me.
as an offering to me.
So we'll read the purport now. Thus, it is the duty of everyone to mold his life in such a way that he will not forget Krishna in any circumstance. Everyone has to work for maintenance of his body and soul together, and Krishna recommends herein that one should work for him. Everyone has to eat something to live. Therefore, he should accept the remnants of foodstuff offered to Krishna. Any civilized man has to perform some ritualistic ceremonies. Therefore, Krishna recommends, do it for me, and this is called Archana. Everyone has a tendency to give something in charity. Krishna says, give it to me, and this means that all surplus money accumulated should be utilized in furthering the Krishna consciousness movement. Nowadays, people are very much inclined to the meditational process, which is not practical in this age. But if anyone practices meditating on Krishna 24 hours a day by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra round his beats, he is surely the greatest meditator and the greatest yogi, as substantiated by the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Om Ajnana Dasi and Bhakta Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Okay, so tonight we are going to discuss about this verse, which is in chapter 9. Does anybody know what is the title of chapter 9? The most confidential knowledge, yeah. So, everybody knows what is the most confidential knowledge. So when people come and tell you something confidential, you know what it is. It is something really serious. So this chapter is one of the very, very, the best chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna give all the confidential knowledge to Arjuna. Actually, Arjuna, who is Arjuna? He is the friend of Krishna. To be the friend of Krishna, it's not an ordinary thing, you know. You have to be really topmost devotee. So imagine the position of Arjuna. He's one of the really, really very good devotee. But still, Krishna is explaining to him about the whole Bhagavad Gita. Do you think really Krishna is trying to give Arjuna this knowledge?
Yes.
Yeah? Why?
Because he's his friend, right?
Yes, he's his friend. But no, I was reading about the lecture from Srila Prabhupada in Mayapur. I can't remember the year, 1968, I think. 75, something like that. But Srila Prabhupada said, no, Arjuna doesn't really need all his knowledge. He already has all his knowledge. But Krishna is using him as an instrument. For who? For us. Definitely for us. So why Krishna is doing this? Why is he giving this knowledge to Arjuna? Just to deliver us. And why does he have to deliver us, do you think? Because we are part and parcel of Krishna. And Krishna, he is our
Master.
He is our Lord, our Father. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he wants us to come back to him. He wants us to be with him. He's very merciful. He's very compassionate. That's why he's telling this knowledge to Arjuna. So Krishna has 6 opulences. Does anyone know about the opulences of Krishna? Come on, Shrees.
The most famous
Okay.
knowledge,
Knowledge,
beauty,
beauty,
strength,
strength,
fame,
fame,
relationships,
wealth, and renunciation. So what is renunciation?
Sacrificing everything.
Renounce to everything.
Yeah.
So if Krishna, Krishna got lots of qualities, 64 qualities, which we cannot get time to go through that. And that is the 6 main opulence that Krishna possessed. So if one of them is renunciation, why do you think Krishna is telling us, offer me this, give it to me, whatever you do, whatever you perform, just give it to me? Do you think Krishna need all this? Krishna is the Supreme Lord. He is God himself. So he doesn't need anything actually. Why he's doing that? Because he's merciful towards us. He really wants to help us. He wants us to come out of this material world. That is his main reason. So now we go further down. In chapter 2, Krishna explained, does anyone know what Krishna talk about in chapter 2?
Soul.
He talk about the soul. So what does he describe about the soul? How the soul cannot perish, cannot die, cannot be destroyed, cannot be slain, cannot be burned. So if you read chapter 2 in Bhagavad Gita, the whole chapter is about the soul. And so why do you think Krishna had to talk about the soul? Anybody know the answer?
That's the first step for spiritual realization.
Because I will tell you later, I'm coming to that. Yeah, I'm coming to that. There is one verse which Krishna said in chapter 2, that is verse 13. Dehi no spirita tadi ko varam yogaram jana tata dihantara prakti diras tata damudati. As the embodied soul continuously passes from boyhood to youth to old age, similarly the soul passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered at this change. So, did you understand that verse? It said that the soul, at the time of death, it passes from one body to another body. So this is really big what Krishna is saying. So, after talking a bit about chapter 2, now I'm going to tell you about why Krishna talk about the soul. Like Mahaprabhu has just said, because we are part and parcel of Krishna. So, Krishna is the seed-giving Father, and He is the one who has created everything. So, now Prabhupada said we have got fourfold. Like, we got some 4 things which we are not aware about. So does anybody know what are the 4 things which we have? We have got 4 deficiencies. Yeah. Prabhupada said we got 4 deficiencies. Does anyone know what are the 4 deficiencies?
Always under illusion.
Yeah, we are under illusion. 1. The second,
Committing mistakes.
we commit mistake.
Got imperfect senses.
The third one, we have got imperfect senses. And the last one is we got tendency to cheat. We are cheating all the time. So now why Prabhupada said that? Because we got imperfect senses. What does that mean, imperfect senses? Imperfect senses mean we are thinking, we are committing mistake, we are thinking that we are this body. This is the biggest mistake we are committing. We are thinking we are the body. In fact, why did I talk about chapter 2? What is it about?
Soul.
The soul. So now, coming back to what Prabhupada said, we got 4 deficiencies. This is one of them, the mistake, is that we think we are the body, when we are not. What are we? We are the spirit soul. So this is one deficiency we are. If we understand that we are not that body, we are the spirit soul, then we will know that we have to go back to Krishna. because we are not that body. And I have just tell you about that verse, what is that? After death, we go to another body. So Krishna is describing everything clearly, what we are. So if we have faith in Krishna, we have to believe what he said, because he's not an ordinary person, he's a supreme personality of Godhead. And everything comes from the Vedas, comes from the Vedic scriptures. So now about our imperfect senses. Prabhupada explained clearly how our senses are imperfect. A normal human being will say, oh no, I'm fine, I don't have any fault. So now let us switch off this light completely. If it is pitch dark, can we see?
No.
So how can we say that our senses are perfect? It's not. And our smell, we can smell only on some condition. Like if there is this, like Kasturi Manjari is preparing a very nice curry. We can smell it from here. So now I can use my sense, smelling, because this is a very highest things coming from the kitchen. And this is the way our senses work. If there is nothing, our senses doesn't work. So really we don't have really perfect senses. And so that's it. The only main useful sense which we can use, the most useful one, anybody guess?
Ears.
Is the ears. Yes, please. The ear. Why is it the ear? To understand Krishna, we can hear. We have to receive the sound vibration. That's why Krishna come as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And what did he give us when he came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? The Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, it doesn't only give us the holy name, because in this age, what age are we actually? Kali, which means that age of iron. This is the worst age, you know there is 4 age, so that you trade and this is the age of Kali. So here at this age of Kali, we don't do sacrifice, we don't do like big deity worship, because at that time they were doing with gold and everything. At this age, that's why Krishna came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to give us the Maha Mantra. And there is one verse which he gave us. I think everybody knows that. If you know, just repeat together with me. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Kevalam. Karo naste eva naste eva gati. So what does that mean? In this age of Kali, the only means of deliverance is a chanting of the holy name. There is no other way, no other way, no other way. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that 3 times. There is no other way. The only way is to chant the Maha Mantra. So Krishna is so kind. He's coming all the time in all way. He's sending not ordinary soul. He's sending very, very big soul like Srila Prabhupada to give us, to come and deliver us. So how can we not say Krishna is merciful? How do we want to come back in this material world again, go through birth, disease, old age, and death? I don't think, does anyone want here to go through this, Kasturi? No. So we have to listen to whatever Krishna said, and whatever he said is really, really sense, So now I will go to karma. What does karma means? Action and reaction. And what does akarma means?
Works prescribed by the scripture.
Yeah, akarma means action which we are doing and which is we don't have any reaction. Karma means whatever action we do, we will get a reaction. Even good action or bad action, we will get it. You know, we can say that we are not doing, some people might say, I met so many people, like, you know, the worshipper of Sai Baba. When they say, do good, be good. You know, that's the main thing they say, do good, be good. But Krishna doesn't say do good, be good. He said we have to go through higher than goodness. So if you look at karma, we say, like for example, I'm talking, I don't know how many living entity I might be with my breath, I might be killing. When we are walking, we don't know how many we are killing. So is that not the same? We have to go through that. We have to, whatever the consequence. And later Prateek Prabhu will talk about the verse, what Krishna is really saying. So I'm just going a bit before that, so we understand why Krishna said offer him everything. So now we go to Vikarma. What does Vikarma means? Vikarma means activities performed, which we got full sin. You know, the activities which we are committing is really, really very sinful, like murder, rape, you know, so many bad things, killing animal. This is really vikarma. So we got karma, akarma, and vikarma. And in chapter 9, Krishna said, verse, is it 34? If one offers me, leave 34. 36. Oh, yeah.
26.
Oh, 26, yeah, sorry. Yeah, chapter 9, this is the most confidential knowledge again. Verse 26, Krishna said, if one offers me a leaf, a fruit, water, with devotion, I accept it. Why does Krishna need water? Why does he need leaf? Why does he need a flower? He doesn't, he possesses everything. But he is trying to, as I said before, just to help us. So just to offer him, when we offer him things like that, he's very happy. So this is devotional service. And in chapter 9 again, verse 34, and verse chapter 18, verse 15. Does anyone know what verse he said? He said that twice in Bhagavad Gita. Manmana bhava bhaktu, madhyamam, mam eva shyashi yuktavam, atmanam madparam. So what does that mean? Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee. Offer obeisance to me and worship me. Be completely absorbed in me. Surely you will come to me. This is a promise which Krishna is giving us. So we should really, really surrender to Krishna. And in chapter 9, again, the most confidential, again this chapter, verse 22, Krishna says, but those who is always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. So now I'll tell you a little story before I pass the mic to Prateek Prabhu. I'll tell you a little story about this verse. So once there was a Brahmana called Arjuna Acharya. So this Brahmana was writing his commentary on the Gita. He saw this verse, and you know the verse which we have just said, he saw that, and he saw it is a mistake. Can you imagine? He's thinking Krishna has done a mistake. And he said it is a mistake to believe that the Lord would personally carry whatever was needed to each devotee. So what he did, he scratched the word Vahami. He scratched the word Vahami, which means I carry, and instead he inserted the word Karomi. He said like I have it. I have it done. So he doesn't agree that Krishna will say, I carry what you lack. He said that I have done it. So after changing this, he scratched it and changed it. After changing the text, he went out begging, because you know Brahmana, they go for begging and they get whatever they get, they leave. So he was a very, very, very poor Brahmana. So he went door to door and went down. At that time when he went away, two beautiful boys, very, very beautiful, they fearfully insisted on knocking at his door. The wife of the Brahmana opened the door, and the two beautiful boys insisted. Quickly they came inside, and they told their wife to accept the food that her husband has forced them to bring. They said, "Oh, my lady, my dear devotee, your husband has sent these items of food. So take it quickly. We are in a rush. We don't want him to come because we are very anxious and we're very, very worried that if he comes, he might beat us." So the wife was really shocked. She said, "What? How can Arjuna Acharya be so cruel to beat these two beautiful boys?" He expressed had disbelief and said, No, this is not true. Then the dog called a boy, she said, "No, this is true. See." And the dog boys turned his back and showed the marks on his back to the lady. And the lady saw that. She was so shocked. So she wasn't happy. As soon as the two boys went away, she stopped cooking whatever they have brought, and she cooked it, over it, and she stopped eating. But according to the Brahma, to the Vedic literature, the wife of a Brahmana, she should always serve her husband first and then eat. At that time when she stopped eating, the Brahmana came and he saw that. So he wasn't very happy. So Arjuna Acharya said, "Oh, so now you are eating before even serving me." Then the lady said, "Yes, Acharya, I am doing that because how can you become so cruel? I don't believe that. You have beaten two beautiful boys who came here." The Acharya was very, very surprised and very shocked. Then he said, how do they look? Then the wife said that they were very beautiful. One was white color and one was darkish blue color. And then she said, the darkest color boy, he even showed me his back, and there was scratches and marks of beating, and they said, "You are the one who has beaten." Then the Acharya realized that what he has done, he has scratched Bhagavad Gita. So whatever we do, we have to be very, very careful when we talk about Krishna and his devotees, because whatever you do, Krishna is getting it directly. So this Acharya, he scratched it and Krishna got it on his back. So then the Acharya asked for forgiveness, and he said, he knows now that the true words is that I carry what they lack. You cannot change what Krishna has written, has given. So now I will pass the mic to Prateek Prabhu, who will explain clearly about the verse now. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, I decided to approach this lecture in a more methodical way. So, I decided to read the translation and I'm going to split it up. So, from the translation of the shloka, the first phrase, whatever you do, what does that mean? What does whatever you do mean? Action. What types of activities? Any?
Yeah, word.
Daily action.
Okay, so what I written down was anything which is related to the service of Krishna, because that's our aim. Our aim is to serve the lotus feet of Krishna. So there are two ways of doing that. Either we can do devotional service, or the first task is to chant the Mahamantra. Because if you're going to glorify Krishna, if you want to beg Krishna that, please, I'm here, I want to come back to you, the best way is to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I found this verse from Nectar of Instruction and it's in verse 7. I'm just going to quickly find the thing. Yeah. The holy name, character, pastimes, and activities of Krishna are all transcendently sweet, like sugar candy. Although the tongue of one afflicted by the jaundice of avidya, ignorance, cannot taste anything sweet, it is wonderful that simply by chanting these sweet names every day, a natural relish awakens within his tongue, and his disease is gradually destroyed at the root. So this is fairly self-explanatory. If you have a disease like jaundice, if you eat anything sweet, when you have jaundice, you can't taste the sweet. Instead, the sweet turns into bitterness. And the way they treat it is, as it says. However, one must know that for jaundice, sugar candy is the only specific medicine. Similarly, in the present confused state of humanity, Krishna consciousness, the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, is the only remedy for setting the world aright. So, in other words, if you chant the Hare Krishna mantra, everything should go smoothly. And there's a really good book I'm using at the moment. It's called The Living Name. It's written by His Holiness Satyanandana Swami Maharaj. It's an amazing book. It tells you how you're supposed to chant, how you're supposed to line your body, mind and heart into the soul, how you're supposed to chant in an environment where it allows you to chant even more properly with more quality. It's an amazing book. If you have a chance to read it, please read it. And then there's another phrase from the purport from text 7 in the Nectar of Instruction. The normal condition is to remain an eternal servant of the Lord. Jivera Swarupahaya Krishnera Nityadasa. This healthy condition is lost when the living entity forgets Krishna due to being attracted by the external features of Krishna's Mayas and Maya energy. This word of Maya is called Durashreya, which means false or bad shelter. So, if you're under the mood of ignorance, you're not going to get anywhere in this age of Kali. You can't go back to Krishna. You'll be stuck in the cycle of birth and death. That's not what we want here. We want to go back to Goloka Vrindavan, and the only way is to chant the Hare Krishna mantra, to do devotional service, to beg for Krishna's mercy. And there's a whole chapter in the Bhagavad Gita that literally dedicates to devotional service. Anyone know what chapter it is?
12th chapter.
12th chapter. It's a pretty small chapter, it's only about 20 texts, but they're probably the most important texts that you have to read if you want to learn how devotional service is done. So moving on to the second part of today's verse. So we have done whatever you do, whatever you eat. Again, what does that mean? Can we eat anything?
No.
Just as the first, which we have said, offer me a leaf, a fruit. That's why I talk about that.
That is exactly so. Previous shloka, Bhaktam Pushpam Phalam Toyam, Yo Me Bhaktya Prayachati, Tadaham Bhakti Upashitam, Asnami Prayatatmanaha. So as Vrinda Mataji said before, if one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, flower, fruit or water, I'll accept it. But why are we doing this? Why are we offering the fruit to Krishna? So new devotees who usually join ISKCON, they'll ask for a common question that everyone asks. If plants are living organisms, what about animals? Why don't we offer animals as well? That's a common question for newcomers into ISKCON. And one thing to know here is that when we eat animals, we are under the mode of ignorance. And if we stay in the mode of ignorance, if we die under the mode of ignorance, we don't go to the hellish planets, we go down to the planet of animals. And that's the lowest of the lowest. We don't want to go back to the animals. And so the reason why we offer the food to Krishna is because Krishna is prepared to take the sins that we've accumulated from the prasada. And that's what we call it prasada, because it's food offered to Krishna and then we're tasting the remnants of that. And so, what really Krishna wants here is that love and devotion. Because, as Mataji said earlier again, Krishna has anything, he has everything. Because he's Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yet, the only thing Krishna wants from us is love and devotion. As long as we show that to Krishna, we can go back to Goloka Vrindavan. So, whatever you do, whatever you eat, what do you eat? Whatever you offer or give away. This is a slightly more tricky situation because we can't just give something away directly. We have to think what it's going to be used for. So, we can't just give any random item to any random person. Instead, we have to direct it towards Krishna. So, there's several ways of doing that. You can do that to charity, that is, you can donate, as the Prabhupada said, you can donate money to further propagate the Krishna consciousness movement. Your house, you can make your house as a temple, so then you can have association with devotees. You can have association with devotees, you can do deity worship, you can literally have Krishna at home so you can praise him. And then there's this thing I found here. So this is the book Basics from Bhagavad Gita. It's a book that I found that I was given in Dubai. Amazing book. It's again just a brief book of all the chapters in Bhagavad Gita. And I just wanted to read a few paragraphs. The scriptures say the householders must offer charity for the welfare of society and for the service of God. There are different kinds of charities according to the three modes of natures, as described by Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. Charity given for the sake of the Lord, for His service and to spread His message, is the highest because it is transcendental, i.e. beyond the modes of nature. Again, that's our goal, not to go into the mode of goodness, but to go one step higher, which is pure transcendental state. Giving in charity protects the householders from greed and possessiveness. By parting with the fruits of his labor for a higher cause, the householder is purified. So that's really a practical advice, or practical way of how can we give something towards Krishna. Next part of the translation, whatever austerities you perform. So now it is really important to note that in the previous yugas, so the only way to reach Krishna was to perform severe austerities, to meditate deeply onto Krishna. But especially when Kali Yuga, which is the worst age out of all, it's very, very difficult to do something like that, meditate deeply into Krishna for thousands of years. We only live 100 years in this age of Kali, so very, very difficult to do. Then what happened 500 years ago? Anyone? What happened 500 years ago? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. He's none other than Krishna. And he comes, he delivers. That's what his hands are. Merciful. He's giving us the mercy. Please take it. And again, as Vrinda Mataji said, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Eva Kevala, Kalau Naste, Eva Naste, Eva Kadena Gita. So he tells us, in this age of quarrel and misery, the only means of deliverance is to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. There's no other way, there's no other way, there's no other way. 3 times, no other way. That's a demand. That's like, there's no other way. You have to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra if you want to go back to Goloka Vrindavan. And in Bhagavad Gita, there are notes on how austerities are done in different types of moods. So that's from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 17, text 14 to 19. I'll just quickly only read the translations here. So 14. Austerity of the body consists in worship of the Supreme Lord. The Brahmanas, the spiritual master, and superiors like the father and mother, and in cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy, and non-violence. Austerity of speech consists in speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating to others, and also in regularly reciting Vedic literature. And satisfaction, simplicity, gravity, self-control, and purification of one's existence are the austerities of the mind. This threefold austerity performed the transcendental faith by men, not expecting material benefits, but engaged only for the sake of the superior, is called austerity in goodness. And penance performed out of foolishness, with self-torture or to destroy or injure others, is set. I skipped that. Penance is performed out of pride and for the sake of gaining respect, honor, and worship, is said to be in a mode of passion. It is neither stable or permanent. And penance performed out of foolishness, with self-torture or to destroy or injure others, is said to be in a mode of ignorance. So there's a reason why these three modes of nature exist, because we can't be in ignorance. That's, again, the worst of the worst. As the translation said, we're only going to injure others if we're going to self-harm. That's not the way to process or to progress in our spiritual life. It's the complete opposite, in fact. And that's really why this movement exists, because it's to come to the realization that we're only here temporarily, because this world is only temporary and full of miseries. So again, we have to go up to the order, past mode of goodness, up to the pure transcendental state, again, just so we can serve the lotus feet of Krishna. And the aim of this is to always put Krishna in the center of whatever you do. If it's chanting, daily worship, cooking or making some prasada for the Lord, if it's cleaning the temple room, or if it's going out in Sankirtan with the devotees, Krishna should always be in the middle of whatever you do. Even if it's your ordinary work life outside of the temple. Try to keep Krishna in the center so that you actually do your work much more better, much more confidently. For me personally, I've always listened to kirtans whenever I'm typing up reports or doing my individual research. I always listen to kirtans because it helps me to focus my mind. So then I know Krishna is with me all the time. I know Krishna is always there if I need him. I can just progress with my life. And in today's text, in the pulpit it says meditating on Krishna for 24 hours a day. Because that's literally what Bhakti Yoga is. Meditating on Krishna for 24 hours a day. Because we constantly have to serve Krishna, and we have to be the servant of the servant of the servant. So again, method of instruction, there's a translation in verse 8. Just get this one quickly. Yeah. The essence of all advice is that one should utilize one's full time, 24 hours a day, is nicely chanting and remembering the Lord's divine name, transcendental form, qualities and eternal pastimes, thereby gradually engaging one's tongue and mind. In this way, one should reside in Vraja, Goloka, Vrindavan and Dharma, and serve Krishna under the guidance of devotees. One should follow in the footsteps of the Lord's beloved devotees, who are deeply attached to his devotional service. And we have a greatest example here of devotees that we have to follow. Our greatest example is sitting there, Srila Prabhupada. He has gone through it all. He's gone to Jaladuta from Kolkata to New York, suffered heart attacks after heart attacks. Yet he went to America, he established ISKCON there, he propagated ISKCON around the world. He is one of the best examples that we can look up to if you want to progress. And again, the reason why we need to meditate on Krishna is we need to stop the cycle of birth and death. Because eventually our goal is to reach Goloka Vrindavan, the topmost planet in our spiritual life. So again, we need to keep Krishna in the center, chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra regularly. In this way we can stop the cycle of birth and death and because our ultimate goal is to reach Goloka Vrindavan. So I'll stop here if anyone.
I just want to answer. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Like Prateek Prabhu has talked about the Bhakti Yoga. Actually, Krishna, I did mention that. I just want to mention it before we finish. In chapter 3 to 5, Krishna talked about the yoga. Anybody knows how many yoga we have? What is yoga, first of all? Yoga means to live with the Supreme. So, what types of yoga we have? Anybody? We got Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. So Krishna explained clearly in chapter 3 to 5 about Karma Yoga. What is Karma Yoga? Karma Yoga is all the activities like we are doing, like enjoying our senses in fruitful activities. Like we go to work, we want to earn lots of money, we want a bigger house. I don't say that is wrong. But precisely when someone is not a devotee, they are just enjoying their senses, getting all these things. But what Krishna means in this verse, give it to me. So make your house become a temple. You got even a picture of Srila Prabhupada, of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of Radha Krishna, and you worship. That's what he meant on this verse 27. So that's why he said, give everything to me. So while he's saying that, we got another yoga, the Dhyana yoga, where we are a bit inquisitive, want to know why we are here, what's happening. And then the last one, I was listening to the lecture of Srila Prabhupada today. He said, don't try to find God with a mental speculation. Don't even try that. Because the last one is Bhakti Yoga, and this is the highest platform, and nothing can excel this yoga. It is so pure, and Krishna has explained clearly in chapter 6, I think, about the Bhakti Yoga to Arjuna. So Krishna wants us to cross the do good, be good mode of goodness. He wants us to go to that platform of Bhakti Yoga. That is why he's saying that, offer me everything to reach him, to go back to him. Because he wants us. So we recapitulate about what we have done today. We have talked about the soul. We are not this body. We have talked about the yoga. We have talked about karma and everything. So this is all about this verse. So we can reach the Bhakti. And there was a very good example. How do we reach Bhakti Yoga? Does anyone know the 9 stages of Bhakti Yoga? So this should be in another lecture. The 9 stages of performing Bhakti Yoga and how to surrender to Krishna. Time is lacking, so we need to stop here. And there was an example about who is a person who is really surrendered to Krishna. He was serving all his senses to Krishna. Does anybody know? He was a king. Ambarish Maharaj. And anyone can say how he was using his senses to Krishna, for Krishna?
Mind in remembering the lotus feet of Krishna.
He was using his mind to remember Krishna. He was using his eyes to look at the deity. He was using his nose to smell the flower offered to Krishna. He was using his hands to clean the temple. He was using his mouth to speak about Krishna, to taste prasadam. And he was using his feet to go to the holy places. And he was using his limbs to embrace devotees, to glorify devotees. So that's why when we reach that level, when we can have a little hope of going back to Godhead. But the main thing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said, like Prateek Prabhu has said again and again, we have to chant the holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama